Now we're going to talk about the accented 6/4 chords and cadences. Amazing accented 6/4 chords. Now these chords appear as part of a cadential figure, and they bring attention to themselves. They're different than those ones we just played where they're very melodic and smooth. Not these. These cadential 6/4 chords, they want to have people pay attention to them. They draw attention to themselves. So let's go to the bottom where it says, we will explore only one type of accented 6/4 chord, which is usually found at cadences. And for this reason, we call it the cadential 6/4 chord, or the CAD 6/4 in Laitz language. The cadential 6/4 chord is an outgrowth of two metrically stressed dissonant events. The first one is the suspension, and the second one is the accented passing tone. So we're going to look at 11.18 below. And Laitz is showing us an evolution of the cadential 6/4 chord emanating from the suspension principle. So look at the first measure. It goes like this. So he says in 11.8a, the progression is 1 to 1/6 to 5 to 1. And each harmonic function occupies one measure. Now the tied G in the alto shows the common tone between the dominant, it's right there, and the tonic. There it is again, okay? Now let's alter that a little bit. In example 11.8b, we're now going to ornament this progression with a 4/3 suspension in bar 2 in the soprano. Take a listen. Again, ready, sing. Made it more fancy. So here's preparation, suspension, resolution, and I'm talking about between the bass note is where the 4/3 comes from. Okay? Notice how the harmonic analysis has changed a little bit. It now shows 1 to 1/6, but a 5 with a 4/3 voice leading number there. But the tonic and dominant areas have stayed the same. All right, now we're looking at letter C. The tenor voice now lines up with the soprano voice by suspending into the next measure. So now we are going to have, and they're considering the tenor voice the E4 that's played by the right-hand player, but it's the tenor voice in this case just written in keyboard style. And it goes like this. Sing along, ready, sing. This is 1 to 1/6, 5/6/4 to 5/3, because so E to D is 6 to 5, and C is 4/3. That's where those numbers come from. Okay, now letter D is, we're going to revoice what the downbeat of C was into C, E, G on the downbeat of letter D. So 11.8D revoices the upper voices so that the suspended scale degree 3 appears in the soprano voice like this. Soprano had scale degree 5, 3, 2, 1. Notice that this revoicing did not change any of the analysis between letters C and D. It was still 1 to 1/6, 5/6/4, 5/3 to 1. One more, letter E as a predominant function by incorporating a 4 chord. Since scale degree 1, the chordal fifth of the 4 chord, here's 1, scale degree 1, and then 4 chord is 4, 6, 1. Continues to serve as a preparation for the suspension, okay? Okay, now look at this. It's a 1, 4, 5/6/4, 5/3 to 1. And now we have a complete phrase model. Tonic, predominant, dominant, tonic. All right, so we're going to play through all of A, B, C, D, E without stopping. Pick your favorite part. out of the soprano and bass parts. So we're going to do it as if you're singing species counterpoint with just the outer two voices. I will play all the inner voices, but you pick either the bottom or the top voice. Ready? Go. Letter B. Letter C. Letter D. Letter E. That, my friends, is a cadential 6/4. It's part of the dominant chord. It's the voice leading part of it. 6/4, 5/3, or 6/4, 5/3, depending on which voice you're singing up there. Interesting. Now, let's continue on. Cadential 6/4 can be a byproduct of an accented passing tone. So we're going to look at 11.9. This is very interesting. Check out letter A. Look at that soprano. Scale degree 3, 2, 7, 1. So there's a little gap between the 2 jumping to the 7. I mean, it's not bad, but it's not as smooth as it could be. So there's a way to smooth out that little hole in there by doing this. 3, 2, going to a 5/6/4 with a 1. 7. I'm talking about the scale degrees 1 and 7. If you look below, you'll see it's 1, 2, 6, 5 is a 6/4. So above the G is a C, and that's a 4, and G to E, that's a 6. That's where we get it. 5/6/4, 5/3 to 1. And now you have that beautiful top line that's smooth. Okay, let's revoice it in letter B. Now, letter B is revoiced from letter A, I should mention that. So now we still have the gap between, here's 5, 4, missing scale degree 3 and going right to 2 and 1. So let's see if we can figure out how to go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 instead of 5, 4, 2, 1. Look at the fill. Exact same analysis as the second bar of letter A right above it. 1, 2, 6, 5, 6, 4, 5, 3 to 1. Now all 4 of these measures have the same analysis. Tonic chord, predominant, dominant with that suspension figure, and tonic. So this shows that the cadential 6/4 chord is a root position dominant harmony whose chordal fifth, that's these guys, are temporarily postponed by the accented dissonant 4th and 6th. Okay, so let me read that again when I play it. The cadential 6/4, which is happening right here, is a root position dominant harmony whose chordal 5th and 3rd are temporarily postponed by these 2 on the top, and then it resolves down to the 5 and the 3. Look down near the bottom where it says preparing cadential 6/4 chords. So these upper voice non-harmonic tones are resolved by step down. So the preparation can occur in one of 2 ways. So you can either do preparation by common tone using suspensions. Let's go back a page and look at letters C and D. Letter C has, there's your preparation, and there's suspension and resolution. Same with letter D, it goes like this. Consonant preparation, dissonant suspension. That is what is meant by the preparation. This is a common tone, and the other common tone is this. The other way you can do it is by preparation by step using accented passing tones, and that would be just what we talked about in 11.9. Let's look at letter A, the second bar. Accented passing tone. It's accented because it came on the downbeat, the stronger of the beats 1 and 2. Letter B, same thing. Look at the second bar. Accented passing tone. Now the other another way you can use cadential 6/4 chords as part of half cadences. Let's go to the next page. And I'm just going to play example 11.10. This is This is a song with two phrases in it. Thus, it has two phrase models. Bars 1 to 4 are one phrase, then the first phrase, and the half cadence is there. Bars 5 to 8 is the second phrase, and it cadences with a perfect authentic cadence there. So the second phrase, the perfect authentic cadence, is stronger than the half cadence. And this kind of 8-bar setup is called a period, and there's different kinds of periodic structures, which we will learn about at the end of this semester. This is a very common type where you go in 4 bars and half cadence, and then bar 5 restarts like what was done at the beginning. In fact, the first couple of bars are almost identical. Bars 1 and 2 are almost identical to bars 5 and 6. But this time it ends. So it's like question phrase, and the second one is the answer phrase. I will play it now. The first 4 measures end with a half cadence, sounds like a question, and then the answer phrase comes to us in bars 5 to 8. Ready? Go. So example 11.10, which I just played, shows cadential 6/4 chords in the half cadence. That's bar 4. So it's a 5 chord with a 6/4 to 5/3 motion. And it also shows it if the look at the last bar. So it's 6/4, 7, 5/3. It says below, preceding 5/7, notice that the cadential 6/4 in measure 8, that is the last bar, leads not to a triad on 5, but rather to a 5/7. It says it appears as a E-flat, D-flat, C motion against the E-flat up here to the A-flat. Go down where it says within a phrase at the very bottom of the page. So just as a 5/7 chord may occur within a phrase, so too do accented 6/4s also occur within a phrase. So we'll see one of these when we turn the page to look at example 11.11. So the first phrase is 6 bars and it closes with a half cadence that is strengthened by a cadential 6/4. Well, let's just look at it. It's hard to explain by the blurb. So this is kind of a little quirky piece. Let's take a listen. 1 and 2 and 3. Okay, let's talk it through. Level 1, just the chords. So that's a 1 chord. 4 plus 5 chord was a 4 to 3, 1. Now this is a double suspension. The bass up to the soprano is 6 to 5. Now look at the bass and the tenor. That's the 4 to 3. That's why it's a 5 the 6/4 to 5/3, 1/6. Oh, now check it out. In the bass and the tenor, C. That's a 5 to 6 voice motion, which I didn't really put in there. I don't know why. Here's 5/4 2 to 1/6 to 5/6 5. Now, bracketed on top, these are restruck suspensions on the 1 chord, 4 to 3, and 9 to 8 at the top. So I don't know why they didn't put it on the 1 chord with the voice leading of 4 to 3 and 9 to 8. I don't know why they didn't, but here's the dominant with the voice leading 6/4 to 5/3. Now, we're going to talk about cadences. We have two interesting types of cadences that are kind of fun. There's the elision cadence, where the ending chord of the first cadence is simultaneously functioning as the beginning chord of a new phrase, so they elide. And then there's the extended cadence. We call this one an evaded cadence because you think the phrase is going to end and it tricks you and it keeps going for a little bit. And it was an unexpected turn of events that one did not expect. So the cadence was evaded. It says when you look down at the second paragraph, there are two common reasons why composers would want to evade or circumvent a cadence when using a cadential 6/4 chord. And the first reason would be that they wish to hide the seams between two independent phrases, and that's why you elide the phrases. And the second way is if you wish to intensify the cadence by repeating certain elements of it. This is called cadential extension. And cadential extension is a lot of fun. But let's talk about phrase elision first. So we're going to be using the 5/4 chord to do this. I'm looking at letter A at the top of page 313. See if I remember how to play this from last year. Let's look at it again. Ready? In 1 chord, 5/7 chord, back to 1, 2 6. Okay, next bar is 6/4 to 5/3. Now when the D comes in, it changes it from a 5 chord to a 5/4 2. Da 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 da. A 5/4 always leads to 1 in first inversion. So we had 5/6 4 to root position 5/3, 5/4 2 to 1/6. This is just a little decorative note on the top, but the chord is really D, F, so that would be an accented passing tone in the melodic realm. 1 chord, 2 6, 6 4, 5/3 2 1. Okay, so I want some people to sing the top line and some people to sing the bottom line. And together, imagine that we're all together in class singing this as one glorious SATB thing. But I just want soprano and bass right now. You can self-select your part. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now the whole thing is tonic expansion all the way over till the end. Predominant, dominant, tonic. Now it's a PAC. It's got do on the bottom and do on the top. It went T, do on the top. Now this next thing is going to be a little tricky for me because I don't have my foot pedal to turn the page for me. And you can see it goes over the page. So this next one, letter B, is called cadential extension. And this is funny. You can see from letter B, there's a first attempt at the bottom and a second attempt, which is longer, and the third attempt on page 314, which is the longest. I'm going to make an analogy here that Laitz is actually going to use later in the book for something else. But let's just say you have a kid named John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt, and he has not cleaned his bedroom. So if you're the parent, you yell at him, "John, clean your room." That's the first attempt. being a kid, he totally ignores what you say and continues just to play with his toys. So then the second attempt is going to be more intense. In this case, it's going to be longer. So you say, John Jacob, clean your room, with a little more angst in your voice. And again, he pretends like he did not hear you. So now you're really mad. And the third time is the most intense and the longest of them all. John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt, get upstairs right now and clean this room, or you're going to be on restriction for a week. So that's kind of how the energy goes when you do these evaded cadences. You know, if you don't make it your first attempt, then a second attempt is tried, and now the audience is like, when are they going to cadence? And finally it happens on the third one. And so it's kind of funny. Now this particular example is from The Magic Flute. If you haven't seen that opera, you simply must see that before you die. I've actually seen it 3 times live, and I've enjoyed it very much. It's got such a neat story behind it, and the music is so familiar and so delightful. So anywho, if you haven't heard any of it, here's my paltry attempt to play this example. Okay, so the first attempt to cadence, this is starting like a cadential figure with 1 6, 2 6, 5 6 4, and it didn't happen, so we're going to try that again. Third time. Okay, this time you pick your own part. You want to sing either bass line or one of those upper ones would be great. And you're ready, and go. First attempt. Second attempt. Turn. There we go. Finally, we got a cadence.
Der Arme kann von Sprache sagen, denn seine Sprache ist dahin. Ich kann nichts tun, was dich beklagen, weil ich zu schwach zu helfen bin. Ich kann nichts tun, als dich beklagen, weil ich zu schwach zu helfen bin. Weil ich zu schwach zu helfen bin, weil ich zu schwach zu helfen bin.
Die Königin begnadigt dich, erlöst die Strafe durch mich.
Und plaudert Papageno wieder.
Plaudert,
Lügen immer her, nein, nein.
die Schloss soll deine Frau sein.
Wie Schloss soll meine Frau
Soll
sein.
deine Frau sein.
Wir kämen noch alle Stück,